Hey guys, it's Vanity Ezel back at another card fight, Vanguard, Ezel and the Vanity weekly reveals. So if you guys enjoy, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and donate to the Patreon. Let's get one started. Today, we have so many reveals to cover. We got Flagburg, we got Vairina Exspecta somehow, and we have the most important thing in the world of Vanguard, to me specifically, and I will camp outside of Bush Road for it later. Let's go ahead and get these reveals started. First up, we have a grade 3 promo, double rare actually, for Sanctuary, Ease-Rod Angel. Auto when it's placed on rear. Soul Blast won't look at the top card. If it's a unit card, you may call it into the same column as this unit. So it's a way to look at the top card and possibly call it down. You don't have to call it down, so if you do see a trigger, you can keep it on top. And, you know, just a way to extend board, a decent grade 3 to consider. I would run this in Bastion. I would not run this in Hexa Aura, but you can do whatever you want. Next up, we have Dragritter Shihab, 6k base, 5k shield, grade 1 with boost. Auto when it's placed on rear, this unit gets +5, and continuous rear. When you would ride from your ride deck, instead of choose a card from your hand and discard it, you may shove it to soul to ride instead. Okay. That is a good ability. First off, you know the ability to get +5 when it's placed, so it's at least an 11k swinger / booster for the turn. But also, a way to just nullify the cost of riding from the ride deck. Now, my only problem with this is that it requires it to be on the field to go off. I mean, I understand why, but at that point, you might just want to run a Stealth Dragon Touch and Magardi from the previous set, where it's just discard, shove to soul, and has a better base power. So, because the only difference between those two is this has 1k less in base power, but it gets 5k when it's placed, and that's pretty much it. In my personal opinion, go with Touch and Magardi, whatever its name is, but you can go with this if you want, because it still has good purpose. Next up, we have Aurora Battle Princess Tula Bougainvillea, 8k base, 5k shield, grade 1 with boost. Auto when it's placed on rear, choose one of your opponent's imprisoned cards in your prison, and you may call it to their open rearguard circle. If called, choose an opponent's rearguard and shove it into your prison. Okay, first off, that's free, so I really like that, but also, that's somewhat counterproductive, because in the scenario that you're using this, if they have another rearguard, you could just use your skills and imprison it, because otherwise you're just swapping out the rear guard, which is fine, but like, you know, at that point you might as well just use your skills to imprison more things and get more effects off it. Now if they start making cards that say if so and so was imprisoned, or how many cards were imprisoned this turn via your effects, then yeah, okay, I can see this thing being useful because it's a way to get more imprisoned by the effects. But until they make a card like that, I agree that it's good, but like, I don't see the purpose in this when the most you can do is swap, but this assumes that you don't have the soul / counterblast to do that in the first place, or you just don't want to waste the resource. But even then, I still feel like everything else is better over this. It has a good purpose, just not to the purpose that at the moment. They might make a card that actually makes it purposeful, but until then, 2 of 3 if you really want to run it. Next up, we have Aurora Battle Princess Sheer Zenith, 8k base, 5k shield, grade 1 with boost. Auto when it's placed on rear, counterblast 1, choose one of your opponent's rear guards, imprison it in your prison, and for each card of that grade, soul charge 1. Okay, that's good. That is actually really good, because you take a rear guard, you imprison it, and you can get soul charges up to that unit's grade. So all around a nice grade 1 to have. In my personal opinion, at the time of doing this, this is better than this, in my personal opinion, until they make a card that says, if you've imprisoned so or so by this many times this turn, then yeah, this immediately becomes so much better. But until then, in my opinion, Zenith's better. It also has a better name, in my opinion. Next up, we have a grade 2 set order, Repair Dock. Set order, counterblast 1 to play, auto when it's put into order zone, draw a card, continuous order zone, all of your grade 2 rear guards get boost. That is immensely good. That is really good. Because you can use this in any of the decks, probably not Prison, because Prison doesn't need this, and the one grade 2 I can see people trying to use with this is an on front row rearguard circle, and this would imply that it's in the back row, so already this is a no for Prison. But like Gravidea, if you really wanted to spend more places in putting in orders besides Meteors, go ahead. I don't see it necessary because I struggle to beat Gravidea on its own, and this is not needed. And it also has a decent amount of draw power as is, followed by Orphist, which I guess could use it, but Orphist has Power Boys, and they got a better card today as well, which we'll get to later. So all around, I can see the purpose behind Repair Dock. If they give us a budget deck option for Brantgate, fuck yeah, Repair Dock's probably going to be really good for it. Unless they give us one, I don't see a good use in it unless you like want to run it as a tech or 2 of. Next up, we have Desire Demon Inkeen for Dark States, what's it called? Fuck, I forgot his name. Greedon. AK base, 5k shield, great one with boost. Auto when it's placed on rear. If you persona road this turn, soul charge, that is mandatory, so be careful so you don't deck yourself out. And auto when it's put from rear into by your vanguard, from rear into soul by your vanguard's ability. Counterblast 2, choose one of your vanguards and it gets +5 in a drive. Notice how none of that skill is specifically restricted to Greedon. Yes, it's obvious that it's meant to be used with Greedon, but none of its skills restricts it, so you can get that soul charge if you're playing Bruce or Barrow Magnus, and Barrow Magnus can shove it to soul by a Vanguard ability, which can give it a 5k and a drive. I'm not saying you should use it in Barrow Magnus, because Barrow Magnus uses up a decent amount of counterblast, and this is counterblast 2, while Greedon uses up none, more or less, so, like, I don't see why you would run this in Barrow Magnus, but if you really wanted to, it actually allows you to, and that's what I like about Greedon and Barrow Magnus. Their support is so interchangeable between each other that you're only changing the main grade 3 and obviously the ride line, and otherwise you can kind of just do whatever the fuck you want, because all of them have good effects. So, nice grade 1. I run it at 4, or 3. Next up, we have Desire Demon Mukka, 10k base, 5k shield, grade 1 with grade 2 with Intercept. Auto when it's placed on rear from hand if your Vanguard is Demonic Dragon Greedon. Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 2. Choose a card from your soul, call it to rear. I said I wanted one. I know I said it, but like, I'm pretty sure I also said in the battle phase for 1, and Soul Blasting 2 is somewhat counterproductive in this deck because you kind of want to hit a certain soul count more. Like, I understand why it's like that because otherwise Greedon would be ever so slightly more broken, but like, why Soul Blast 2? If it was a double rare, I'm willing to bet right now it wouldn't be Soul Blast 2. But, still a good ability, because, you know, it can refat you soul. And auto rear, when your Vanguard attacks, if your persona road this turn, choose one of your Vanguards, it gets +5 for the turn. So, you know, Vanguard swinging for 18. All around, a nice little number you can swing for, and I really like that, grade 2, so I run him at 3 or 4. Next up, we have Desire Demon Yaaba, who I could fucking swear by his art makes me think he's a promo. He's not a promo, but I think he is for some reason. 8k base, 5k shield, grade 1 boost, act, soul. If your Vanguard is agreed on, put it to drop, and choose one of your Vanguards to get +5 for the turn. Okay, free ability, you're losing soul out of it, but hey, you're getting someone +5. In all honesty, it's not really worth it, because Greedon gets +15 when he restands, if you have 10 or more in soul. Like, if you have the excess soul to do it, and you're trying to kill him that turn, then go ahead and do it, but otherwise, it's not worth it. Like, I still run him at 3 because, you know, the day it's going to come, it's going to be really useful and it's going to hit even harder, but until that day, it's not the most useful. But also, if you know they don't have PGs and you're not going to get the tank anyways, you might as well fucking use it. Either way, nice grade 1, 2, 3 if you decide to use it. Next up, we have a triple rare for Oracle Think Tank. I mean, not Oracle Think Tank, Hexa Orb. Speaking of which, it reminded me, we're not in set 3, besides Vairina, we ain't getting triple rares for the original start decks because, all of them are being replaced with the new ride lines, followed by the old ones from set 1. So Orphist got a triple rare, Gravidia got a triple rare, so Brankgate's done. Stoicheia got a doggo for Zorga, and we got Flagburg, which we'll get to later, and so that's Stoicheia down. Dark States we don't know, but we know Greedon, and we're probably going to get a Barrow Magnus if the trait keeps continuing. Keter, this is their triple rare, and I don't know what the other one's going to be, but it's most likely going to be something for PvD, most likely. Or another Hexa Orb thing, so that's always a thing. But also, if it's a grade 3, regardless, it's Bastion support. And then Nirvana, we already got Expedite, which I'll explain later. 10k base, 5k shield, grade 2 with Intercept. Auto when it's placed on rear, if your Vanguard is Hexa Orb Sorceress or Pentagleam Sorceress, Soul Blast 1, look at top 2, put them at the top of the deck in any order. So unlike everyone else, they don't really call anything, but continuous rear guard circle, if your Vanguard's Hexa Orb Sorceress, it gets +2 and 5k shield. So automatically, just by being on your main grade 3, it's a 12k base, which is 1k off from hitting all grade 3s for some reason, and +5k shield, so it's a 10k interceptor / guardian. What's the problem with this? Nothing. I like it. It's really good. It's one of my favorite grade 2s, and I can't wait to start test playing it. I say like 3 of or 4 of. Next up, we have Revelation Magic Totris. 8k base, 5k shield, grade 1 with boost. Auto when it's placed on rear, if your Vanguard is a grade 3 or greater. Counterblast 1, search your deck for up to 1 Hexa Orb Sorceress, reveal it, add it to hand, and shuffle your deck. Yes! Finally! Bushy is fucking doing it! It took them to set 3, which in all honesty makes sense. But Yes! We have a Persona Ride Searcher that doesn't have to goddamn hit Tench instead. This is how you do it. Thank you. Now, if only they gave it to everyone else. But I'm really glad, because for once, they gave it to a fucking deck that actually needs to Persona Ride to get a good effect off. Thank you, Bushy. You've heard the cries, especially of a later thing that I'll get to later. But thank you. You've heard my cries from the deepest parts of hell, so I don't have to drag you here with me. All around, Totris is a very good card, and yet unfortunately I don't run her because I have literally no space for her. That's the sad part. I've been complaining this whole time about one, and I don't run her for the sole reason that I don't have space for her. But trust me, she is good with the one time I did use her. I love this grade 1. 3 of, 4 of, bet. Actually, probably not 4 of, 3 of. Next up, we have a Blitz order for Hexa Orb, a Veritable Light that illuminates the truth, grade 3 order. Blitz order, choose one of your Hexa Orb vanguards or rear guards, and it gets plus 10k for the battle. Counterblast 2, it gets 40k instead of 10. Okay, so automatically, nothing that's swinging at this unless it gets an over trigger is fucking hitting after the 40k plus, except for maybe one of the decks from Lyrical. I don't remember which one it is. I'm thinking of a specific deck, but I can't remember what it is. But, yeah. This somewhat, like, is really good. My only problem with this is that it's restricted to Hexa Orb, but A, it still makes sense, and if it wasn't, then Bastion would be ever so more scary. Bastion genuinely is scary because every grade 3 supporter, or any card that's a grade 3, that has a rearguard skill, is considered support for Bastion. So, like, Bushy has to be very careful with what they make cards. Keter is probably the sole reason why everyone has a restrictive name thing, because all of Bastion. Next up, we have our cards for, Flagburg. So he got 7 support cards all at once, I think. Agressblue Dragon, 10k base, 5k shield, grade 2 with intercept. Auto once per turn at the end of the battle, attack the rear guard. If your vanguard is Flagship, Soul Boss 1, stand it. Really easy to get off if your opponent has no rear guards. So all around, I like this grade 2. He's really nice, 4 of. Next up, we have Creed Assault. I love this fucker's second ability, but the first ability is the sole reason why this deck is somewhat unplayable. 10k base, 5k shield, grade 2 with intercept. Continues rear if you did not stand a rear guard by a card ability this turn. It cannot attack. Continues rear during the battle that attacks a vanguard. It gets plus 10. Okay, there are only 3 cards right now in the entirety of Stoicheia that can stand shit. One of them is this fucker who has to attack a rear guard. He has to attack a rear guard, and if he doesn't, then you can't stand him. And he also had that Flagburg as a vanguard, so already he's out of the question. The other grade 2 that can do that, your other rear guard has to attack. So you cannot use it with this boy. And the last one is an on place if your vanguard is Flagburg. So for this fucker to be useful, you have to run him in Flagburg in the first place, followed by C, either this thing or the grade 1 that allows you to restand. And if you don't, you're missing out on a 20k attack, and there is nothing you can do about it. Straight up, this thing has such a good second ability, but it is fucking useless if you cannot restand anything, and if Flagburg does not restand, which is my most hated part of Flagburg. If Flagburg could restand, even if it was just 1 rear guard, I'd be satisfied, because then it would let this thing be useful. Literally, in my deck, it is discard fodder because of how useless it is. The day I kick it to call is the day I'll be satisfied. Next up, we have Highrate Burst Dragon, 8k base, 5k shield, grade 1 with boost. Auto when it's placed on rear. If your vanguard is Flagship Dragon, Flagburg Dragon, choose one of your other rear guards, and it gets an auto rear when it attacks. If it's the first battle of that turn, Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1, stand it. Okay. This costs a Soul Blast. This costs a Counterblast and a Soul Blast. The grade 2 that can restand it besides Agressblue costs a Counterblast. Vanguard costs a Counterblast. 3 Counterblast, 2 Soul if you want to get 5 attacks in one go. I mean, 1 Soul. That's not bad, but like, I know that's set 1 for Flagburg and everything, but they could have done something with this. Like, I feel like they could have given anything else to this guy, and he probably would have been better. Like, swap this guy out for anything else that can maybe stand for free. It would be really good. But no, they chose to make him cannot attack if you do not stand. Why, Bushy? Why? You gave us 3 cards that can restand, and that's it. And 2 of them can't, and only 2 of them can actually work, and that involves you getting them in the first place. Why, Bushy? 4 copies, I guess. I know my deck works really well, but I just resent that card with a burning passion. Next up, we have our starter, Officer Cadet Caricles, 6k base, 5k shield, grade 0 with boost. Auto when it's wrote upon. If you want second draw card, nothing too special about it, just a standard Officer Cadet. Next up, we have Inroad Shooter, 8k base, 5k shield, grade 1 with boost. Auto, when it's rolled upon by Ascendance Assault, call it to rear, the grade 2, and continuous if your Vanguard is Flagship or Ascendance, it gets Intercept and plus 2k power. So it's a 5k Interceptor and 10k base, really nice to have if you can't really get those restands off, so I really like that in it. Then we have Ascendance Assault, 10k base, 5k shield, grade 2 with Intercept. Auto, this cost may also be paid by reveal a Flagburg or Inroad Shooter from your hand. When written on, Soul Blast a card other than itself, call it to rear. So basically you can Soul Blast this or your starter, and you'll get to call it. And Auto rear once per turn when your other rear guard attacks a Vanguard. If your Vanguard is Flagship, Counterblast won't stand it. Yes, it has to be a rear guard attack, so you can't just swing with Vanguard then restand it. He has to use a rear guard, which is why Creed Assault is so much harder to use. I shit on this thing because of that one ability. Straight up. If the second they give us more cards to restand it, I will actually consider getting rid of Creed Assault because of how useless it is. I mean, if they require rear guards to attack, kind of like this boy. But I might keep them around just so I can use them once. And now we have our main grade 3 for it, which is Flagship Dragon, Flagburg Dragon. 13k base, grade 3, 200 Persona Ride. Auto Van, when it attacks a Vanguard, Counterblast won't activate the following effects based on how many attacks happen this turn, including its own. 3 or more, draw a card. 4 or more, choose 2 of your opponent's rear guards, kill him. And 5 or more until end of battle gets plus 10, and your opponent cannot call cards from hand to guard circle unless they call 3 or more at the same time. All those are fine abilities. They're all fine abilities, they're all good. Plus to hand, kill 2, plus 10, all those are really easy to get off. Except this boy. Straight up. Like, when I did my battle, if you know me, when I do my testing battles, I will genuinely try to test everything. He's the only one I couldn't test because, quite literally, he only works if you restand something. If they gave this boy an ability to restand a rear guard, that would have been just so much better because, you know, it allows this thing to be useful and also slightly more multi-attack. I can understand why they didn't want to do that, and I'm fine with it, but, like, why Creed Assault? Just why? Give us an Order Bushy or anything that allows us to restand that isn't Ascendance or Agressblue, and I'll be satisfied. I'll literally walk away happy. But until then, I am upset at Creed Assault. Next up, we have Doggo, Entwined Shadow, 10k base, 5k shield, grade 2 with Intercept. Auto's placed on rear from hand, search your deck for an order and reveal it. If it doesn't share the same name with the card in your drop zone, send it to drop and shuffle your deck. So, pretty much, on place, selective search for an order, and send it straight to drop if you don't have a copy. Which is why I love it so much, because it, it can just deck thin for your things and get you Alchemy Magic fodder, and auto rear when you play an order. Soul Blast 1 and it gets plus 5 for the turn, and if an order was played with Alchemy Magic, choose one of your other rear guards and bounce it to hand. So, really nice. By the way, that's not a once per turn, so you can use it twice if you somehow manage to do that, but way to bounce rear guards isn't itself, and also just way to reactivate on-place abilities. In all honesty, it's a really good grade 2 that can work in every deck. I mean, yes, it's obviously meant for Zorga and Iron Chain, but nice grade 2, and I love it. 4 of. Next up, we have Black Magic that invites death. Grade 3 normal order. Its cost is reduced by Counterblast 1 for each card in your bind zone. Play it by Counterblasting 4, draw 2. Now, I know instinctively this is a good card, but in my mind, I see me decking out using this. And it's all because of Mandala, who the one time I let him use Zorga, attempted to deck himself out in one go and almost fucking did it. Thanks a lot, Mandala. I can no longer enjoy anything from Zorga. I hope you're happy. But, yeah, this draw 2 card, I like it. I like its art. I like its name. It only pisses me off, though, that I mentally cannot fathom its abilities solely because of Mandala's image of milling 3 because of multiple Hendrina sack in one go, even though it was not necessary at all, is the thing that sticks in my mind every time I think of Zorga. 2 of this order. Next up, we had Bladed Butcher, 8k base, 5k shield, grade 1 with boost. Act rear, Counterblast 1, bind it, choose an order card from your drop zone, add it to hand. Okay, that is good. Just get an order straight up. If you want to replace this with Sleeve Pulling Beauty from the previous set, I would say do it because it's a way to recycle orders to hand. In my personal opinion, I kind of feel like Beauty's better because it can get more power out of it and it doesn't cost Counterblast. But if you want to go with this one, go ahead and go for it. I say 2 over 3 of. Next up, we have Drilling Angel, 10k base, 5k shield, grade 2 with Intercept. Auto, when it's placed on rear, put a card from your drop zone to Soul, and look at top 3 cards, search your one card with the same card name as the unit, put it to your Soul by this card's cost, and call it to rear and shuffle your deck. So you have to put a unit. So it's a way to get the Soul. You don't have to call anything, and you can just do it to shuffle your deck / get more Soul out of it. But, it's a way to get rear guards out, and I love it, and it's a way to, like, not lose your drop zones if you're playing a premium match against something like, Narukami. You know, this kind of stops them. So, nice grade 2, I guess. 2 over 3 of. Next up, we have the triple rare for Orphis. Cardinal Draco Destierde. That's not his name. 10k base, 5k shield, grade 2 with intercept. Continuous rear. If your world is Dark Knight, it gets +2. If it's Abyssal Dark Knight, it gets +5 instead. That seems similar to Alpha Dread, except it is both players' turns that this goes off. Alpha Dread was during your turn only. That means this is a 15k base during your opponent's turn. While that may not matter much of numbers, especially if they Persona Ride, which makes that fucking 1k plus 5k plus useless, it is a way to make it harder to swing into and a possible swing target. Not to mention auto rear. At the end of the battle that attack, sack 3 tokens, stand it. Orphis can spam tokens like there's no tomorrow. This, yes, one of the 2 attacks is going to be weaker than the other, but if you wait for Persona Ride for this boy can swing like fuck. Like, straight up, one of my deadliest things I would stare down in a fight to the death. I say not a 4 of, because 4 of is a bit too clunky, especially because it requires 3 tokens to sack, and eventually you'll run out of, like, resources to use it. I say like a 3 of, though, because he can really do some work. So, 3 of Destierde. Next up, we have Cardinal Draco Still Lodge, 13k base, grade 3 twin drive Persona Ride, auto rear when it's boosted by a Shadow Army token, so lost 1 countercharge 1. So the 28k swing, now, with this boy running around, I guess I can see the purpose in that, besides the grade 1 that is auto when it boosts or attacks, kill a token, countercharge 1, but I kind of like that one more, especially because they have a grade 2 that can soul charge, and I think it gets you plus 5k shield maybe. I'm not so sure, that might be a different grade 2 altogether. But you know, there are many ways to soul charge in Brantgate. Like, countercharging I think we need the most. I don't think we need a soul blast more though, because our orders soul blast a lot, so I say we go with the, not this one, but hey, if you want to run it, he's a good choice, 2 over 3 of. Next up, we have Blitz Interrupter, 10k base, 5k shield, grade 2 with intercept. Auto when it's put on guard circle, soul blast 1, discard a set order from your hand, plus 15. Okay, this is inherently something that you should think about running in almost every deck. Prison may not need this, because you only run like 2 prisons, and most people only run the second one just to, like, you know, just in case you draw from your start, you at least want to search for another one so you have discard fodder later. But, they also, I'm sorry, not in prison, but in Orphis, you have plenty of set orders. In Bougainvillea, you have plenty of set orders. This boy does really good, especially because you have a good amount of soul in Bougainvillea. In fact, you have an excess amount of soul. In Orphis, you have a meta amount, depending on how you use it. So all around, a nice grade 2 to have as a 20k shield. Fuck yeah, 3 of. Plus, it like saves you slot on your order space. Next up, before our big ass reveals, we have Vairina Exspecta, who I was not expecting last night. Aha, get it? I said the joke from the title. I know it's the fucking title. I made that joke last night when I was making the video title. Grade 3 Twin Drive Persona Ride, 13k base, Overdress. A unit in the Overdress state, yeah, you have to stack it on top of an Overdress unit. It's not just like Valiente where it can be stacked on someone who has the Overdress ability. It has to be stacked on someone who's in the state. So if you ever have a Vairina on the field, just a regular one, it has to be overdressed on Trickstar, Urger, Trickstar specifically, Valiente, anything under it. It has to be overdressed on top of something else, including itself. It can count. And in continuous rear, it gets the original power of all of its overdresses. Someone called this. I don't remember who it is, but when I was looking through the fandom, I remember all the way back when we first learned about this fucker, someone said that was going to be his skill, and they called it to a fucking T. Congratulations to whoever the hell you are if you see this. But, yeah, that's a lot of power. Granted, it doesn't get, like, their stacked power, but, like, Valiente's power, so this is already a 26. If you combine it with Trickstar, who is always going to be a part of it, it's going to be a 28. I mean, most likely Trickstar will be a part of it. Vairina, 38. I mean, yeah, if you're going with Valiente, you can get, like, a lot of power off it. And it can stack if you have multiple copies, so that's always really nice. And auto rear, when it attacks a grade 3 or greater vanguard, if it's in the overdress state, counterblast 1 and gets plus 15 and a crit ton to battle. So already, this fucker who guaranteedly has at least plus 15, or yeah, at least plus 15, because the least it will get is 15, gets another 15 a crit, so already on its own, it's swinging for 43 double crit. But at the end of the battle, you put all of its original dresses to drop. That fucking sucks, but is good at the same time. Okay, think about it. yes, it has no target protection like all the other ones. But if this big bitch is on the field, they're going to target it because that's a continuous power buff. They have to waste a nuke effect on it to get rid of the bitch. And if they don't, then they ain't swinging over it. That's for damn sure, unless they have like a bunch of Persona Reds at the ready. And not to mention, you want to fear this thing's swing with the extra crit, especially the second that Dragon Empire gives us they're not allowed to use Sentinels cards. Oh yeah, you want this thing dead. This is the perfect swing target. And then yeah, when you get rid of its dresses, they're not gonna kill it because it's like a vanilla on board. I mean, yeah, they can Valiente onto it, but they're not gonna kill it. It's the least prioritized thing. But it's something to worry about while it has all those dresses. You can just save them up, get a bunch of power, swing, and then at the end game, boom, even bigger number, and then they're kind of wasting all their PGs early on. Expecta is a nice fucking grade 3, because you have to Expecta when they're going to do it. Yes, I made that joke again. I'm sorry. I just need to do it. Anyways, I like this. I personally run it at 2 or 3 of, depending on who's my starter at the time. If I have Sunrise Egg as my starter, I'll put it at 2. If I have Trickstar as my starter, I put it at 3. So it's honestly up to you, but it works in either way, honestly. It's a really nice grade 3. And now we have the big fucking chunk of reveals. Give me 1 minute. Okay, so our big reveals are things about the anime and something else that I'll reveal later. So first up, of the anime, I think, this might be the anime, it might be a manga, or a crossover, I don't know. We have story about Cray Cross Epic, the biroid boy who woke from 3,000 years of sleep, Rolla, in a world unfamiliar to him, in the age of Chakrabarti. Despite being unaware of his surroundings, he joins the Dragritter girl, Radalina, in her journey to find the fire, I know what this is, Reglis. God damn it. What was the Regalias? There we go. Regalias. What would Rolla feel after crossing with the people of this new era? Okay, I don't know if that's something about the anime or if it's a crossover or something. It looks like a crossover. I heard someone say it was something from My Hero Academia, but I doubt that. Either way, something interesting to look forward to. It's not what I'm looking forward to. If it's part of the anime, then so be it. But, yeah, it's a nice title. So I say, go for it. Next up, we have an overdress, like, just Season 2 stuff. So we have a key visual right here. Seems like Yu Yu's gone a bit edgy. You know, we got the darkened background. Yu Yu's eyes seem to be like Aichi's eyes from Season 1 when he obtained Psyqualia. Don't go back to that. A lot of people hated Psyqualia, and I somewhat hate it. Animation-wise, it looks okay. Kind of looks a bit too puffy, in my opinion, but it looks good. I like his hair. It's very darkened. That's for damn sure. But, Yu Yu got edgy. We have some clips of who uses what. This boy, Shinobi Kachita and Greedon. If you don't remember who this kid is, he is the one from the last 2 episodes, episode 10, 11, and 12, 3 episodes, sorry, where he was a part of Toya's flag burning group along with Masanori, aka the Bald Monk. He is apparently the user of Greedon, who has a nice-ass tail, who I don't think we see in the art. And all around, he looks like a really good fucking card. Why he uses it is beyond me. It does not, in my personal opinion, it doesn't fit him at all in terms of looks, I guess in terms of attitude maybe, but like, I question why it's him, but okay, sure. At least we have someone for him, so I don't really care. Interesting. We have someone using Gravidia. His name is, her name, my bad, is Haruka Sokarawa. Sorry if I said her name wrong. She is the woman, if you look at this. At the end of the last episode, episode 12, we saw the person who's using Blaze Maidens fight against someone else. This was her. So apparently her deck is Nordlinger. So it's really interesting that we got those two. Unfortunately, spoiler, or maybe not spoiler, but as of last night with the product reveal, we do not have a person with Flagburg, unfortunately. So all of you Flagburg fans, I'm sorry, but clearly Bushy has picked their favorites and who is not their favorite, and Flagburg was the non-favorite. But hey, we got someone out of it, or 2 people out of it, so I'm fine with this. Apparently Vanguard's going to continue its thing with Monster Strike, so nice to know all you Monster Strike fans. All you Monster Strike fans, it's really nice knowing that they're going to continue Monster Strike and all their unique ride lines, so I say go ahead and go for it. So nice job on that front. I just want to check to make sure. Okay, big reveal is not for 2 slides. Bazavagata gets new weapons in BTO4. If you remember last time, she had a sword and a shield for the trial deck. This time, in BTO4, she gets a spear and a gun. So, now she's going to have a bunch of weapons. She's going to go raid people too. And it looks like they get to keep the full art too, which is really nice. So, she's going to have a lot of different alternate arts, and baby going to go to war. She's going to wreck all of us. everyone who is not a big fan of getting shot, speared, slashed, hit with a shield, I suggest don't go to Dragon Empire. Yeah, that's gonna be crazy. So really nice to see she's coming along. And next up, we have yes, number one of the two yeses that are gonna happen today, or maybe a lot of yeses. We have Booster Set 05, Awakening Chakrabati. Now, I don't know what happened last night, but first off, this shining ass motherfucker who's holding the literal galaxy in his hands is a new Vairina called Vairina Exspecta. But, based off of the title, and something that was said last night, which I won't say because it might not be confirmed, we have something about a new Nirvana, and this might be it. I'm not so sure if it is. It's probably just the Vairina Exspecta, but based off of title and what was said last night, new Nirvana, who I've been awaiting this entire time, will go on sale December 24th of this year, unfortunately in Japan, which sucks right now because I would love to get this as a Christmas gift, but it's not going to happen, unfortunately. But hey, nice. I don't know what's going to be in set 4. This is what we got for set 4 guaranteedly, so I'm not sure if we're not getting a new Vairina in set 4, but I don't fucking care. If this is the bitch we're getting in set 5, I can't wait for this. Yes! And now, before I hit to the next one, I want to let it be known, I have been saying recently of something in particular I want to happen, and Bushy made it happen. Bushy, if you have been listening to this, I am very thankful. Now, it's time for yes! Okay, well, I'll go explain really quickly. First up, we have Salome in V Collection 5 and 6. By the way, they're going to have a reverse theme. So we have regular Salome, we have Luquier reverse, we have what is called Revenger Raging Fall Dragon, which means every deck that most of the decks that didn't get a reverse form, by the way, the reverse, didn't get a reverse form are getting it now, which is really nice. So Raging Fall, being the reverse of Raging form, is nice to have. And yes, we have technically the second class member to join the Ezel technically sixth member, actually. We have the fourth of the 6 members to join the Ezel goddamn family in V, Salvation Lion, Grand Ezel Scissors. Yes! It took them so long to do this, and I am so fucking happy. On sale January 1st, 2022. If I lived in Japan, I would pay so much money to get this almost immediately. I would have already pre-ordered it by now. That is literally something I would have done if I could. But, yes! Straight up, the second this bitch gets revealed of his skill, I don't care what I'm doing, I'm dropping everything, I'm doing a test match with it, and I'm gonna record it, shove it up in the channel. Thank you, Bushy. Grand Ezel has finally come home. Yes. Anyways, here are some notices that we got for the collection set, Volume 3. We have Maelstrom and Queen of the End Himiko reverse. So Genesis never got a reverse because it was on the good side with Regalias. Now we have Himiko, Queen of the End, and we have another Maelstrom. And Maelstrom already got a lot of support. So I'm really glad that we get another Maelstrom, and his art looks fucking cool too. Like, oh, Bushy, doing everything that could possibly do. They're stepping up their game. Hell yeah with that Maelstrom. And I like the Himiko art too, but I'm more focused on the Maelstrom. Next up we have Salome and Luquier reverse, all in the same set. Was a collection 3. And we have Revenger Raging Fall Dragon reverse. So he is a Revenger, and he most likely is Raging Fall because he's got the red cape. He's got the poofy neck. Everyone in the chat when we were watching the thing, all of us were like, he is most likely a Revenger. Some people called him Hyuga, but we also called him like the Revenger form, the reverse form of Raging, because I thought he was Raging because he had the poof followed by like the red cape right here, and obviously the thing over his head, the reverse symbol, kind of like gave off the hint that he was a reverse card. And Grand Ezel Scissors, I love this fucking art. Everyone who stands in my way will fall, and I will spam this bitch like there's no tomorrow. Hopefully it's really good. I mean, if it's not, I'm still running it, but still. And next up we have Hundred-Thorned Lily Musketeer Celia reverse. So we got another Neo Nectar reverse, which is interesting because we did get an old Neo Nectar card, and it actually was the first Neo Nectar main grade 3 or second main grade 3. I believe it was Maiden of Trailing Vine. or that's not her name, but like something along the line, Maiden of Trailing Rose, I think it was her reversed form. So it's nice that we're getting Celia though, and we have Amon. Amon. My friend was waiting so long for Amon to come to V. Well, Mandala, here you go. Amon has arrived, and I hope you're satisfied, because I am sure satisfied as well, because we got more soul charging boys. And I don't know why, but for some reason I think it's going to have really good synergy with No Life King, who I haven't seen in a while. So I hope we get to bring No Life King back into this. And finally, we have the release dates for these products. Product schedule, September 3rd is DTBO3. So, I mean, not September. Well, in September, we're getting this set. October is when we get Start Deck 06 and the start of Season 2. I wish this was in English. I wish this was for the English, because if it was, I would love to get the Blaze Maiden Start Deck. But good news is, Blaze Maidens are getting revealed soon, and I cannot wait for this. And then we have Shaman King releases in November. December brings us BTO4. January brings us V Collection Volume 3 and 4. And and then February gives us Lyrical Booster Set 2. So we're getting more Lyrical stuff. So all around, I'm really happy. I'm especially happy for this one in particular because it's got 2 units I'm looking forward to. This one gives me 3. This one gives me 5. All around, I'm satisfied for everything. So I can't wait. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, donate to the Patreon, join the Discord, follow the Twitch, and I'll see you all next one. Don't forget to stand up your vanguards.